Hello, class. Welcome to a yoga session that will include a little breathing technique at the beginning, followed by a moment of silence to kind of evoke the state you're looking for and set your intention for the class. And then we will focus primarily on stretching the lower half of the body. So that'll include a little dynamic warm up to get the blood flowing in case you haven't moved much yet before doing this class. So if you want to have any props available, maybe a block or book, strap, scarf, anything that you want to have nearby, make sure you have that. If you want to have any background music going, I have some Spotify options on Canvas, or choose your music on your own. I can't play it while I'm doing this for copyright reasons. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get started with the class. Find a position that allows for you to sit with an aligned spine, whether that be in a chair, supported on a block or bolster. And by an aligned spine, it looks straight from the front. But if I were to turn sideways, I would have those natural curves at the neck, reverse curve at the mid back, and reverse curve, a little bit of a lordosis in the low back. Shoulders are stacked over hips, ears are stacked over shoulders, and muscles relaxed where you can, while lengthening to create space between the rib cage and pelvis, space between your ears and your shoulders, softness throughout your face. You can have your eyes opened or closed for this part as we begin by just getting into the place of joy. So you can think about things that make you feel joyful and happy, or think about the essence, the vibration that you evoke when you focus on joy. But just go inward for a moment. We want to set a foundation of positivity before we start our practice. So from that place of joy, we'll begin a few rounds of Ujjayi breathing, victorious breath. If you need instruction on this breathing technique, you'll go to the yoga video section of this class where I do more thorough instruction in various poses and breathing techniques. So this would be just a brief reminder of how to do it. More details are there. To evoke that breathing technique that helps to oxygenate the muscles, helps to create a connection between your body, your breath, and your practice, this technique is fantastic for that, or even just driving around. You'll feel it in your throat, it's audible, sounds kind of like waves. To feel that sensation, you could take your hand in front of you, and as you exhale with your mouth, like you're fogging up a mirror, that's the sensation you want. That's the sound you want. However, we're going to be doing it with the lips together. It'll be in and out through the nose, but you don't necessarily feel it in your nostrils. You feel it more in your throat. So I will begin. You can follow along, and we'll just continue for a few rounds. And then I'll come back to regular breathing. And you can return to regular breathing anytime. This should not feel like a strain at all. So begin by inhaling with the belly expanding, chest expanding, shoulders lifting. And exhale through the nose, same sound. Drawing the belly back at the end of your exhalation and continuing at your pace. the end of your next exhalation, just return to regular breathing. And if you were able to stay focused on your breath, recognize any increase in clarity, stillness. And from this place, you could set an intention for the practice today. Maybe you just stick with joy. It could be grace, surrender. To seal that intention that you've set, if you'd like to, bring your palms together at heart center and slightly draw your chin in and down, lengthening the back of your neck. Gently lift your head back up to neutral. You can softly open your eyes and relax the hands down. So again, we're going to just do a little dynamic warm up to get the blood flowing. So you can transition into a hands and knees position with your knees underneath your hips. Let's tuck our toes under and lift those outer ankles to bring some energy into the feet as you place your wrist creases under your shoulders. You can look at me to get started, but then the gaze should be down at your mat so the neck is long. Moving through a few rounds of cat-cow. Take an inhale and lift your tailbone, your chest, your chin, your gaze. And as you exhale, we'll just reverse that by drawing the belly in, scooping the tailbone under, spreading between the shoulder blades and tucking your chin. Again, inhale, moving smoothly all the way past neutral into back extension with the gaze slightly up. And then exhale, reverse that. Lengthening the back of the spine, the back body. And continue a couple more rounds on your own. Excuse me. And then you can come back to a neutral position and extend your right leg behind you, toes on the floor. Create a long, strong line through that leg as you engage those muscles. And then simply lift it up so it's parallel to the earth, knee and toes towards the floor. Just squeeze it there as you lengthen. Take one more inhale there. And as you exhale, bring that knee to your chest. Inhale, extend it behind you again. Exhale, bring the knee to the chest. Inhale, extend it out. And this time as you exhale, bring it to your chest, but then continue through and place it on the mat between your hands. If you need to, go ahead and use your hand to get it there so that the knee is lined up over the ankle rather than the knees past the toes. I'm going to take my back foot and scoot it back, lift the knee to create more space between that front heel and that back knee. And I'm really more on top of kind of more the thigh portion of my leg rather than the actual kneecap. But if you need extra cushioning, use a blanket or towel to place under it. Top of the foot now comes to the mat. I'm creating a bit of a stretch in the front of that back thigh as I bring my hands up to heart center. Come back to neutral. So I'm going to shift my hips back and then lean into it again, creating a stretch. We'll do that just a couple more times. A little back and forth movement, a little dynamic stretching. We're going to stay in this lengthening position, reaching the tailbone down towards our knee crease, and then reach the arms up towards the sky and exhale into cactus arms. Inhale, reach up again. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the heart. We're going to just twist over to the right, bring the elbow outside the knee, and bring your heart center up towards the thumbs, turning your head gently with length through all parts of the neck, all sides of the neck. As you inhale, come back to center. Going to bring our hands both to the inside of that right foot and let the knee kind of flop out to the side on the right. So now on the outer blade of that right foot, Hand goes to the inside of that knee, and I'm just gonna gently press into it as I once again twist a little bit to the right. Make a little opening in the hip. And then come back. And then we're gonna take that hand back, bend the back knee. Don't worry if you can't reach the foot right now because we're early in the class, but if you can, you'll grab the foot and just one gentle stretch there. Not too deep this first time, and release. Tuck the toes under on that back foot, or you can leave it down. As you return your right foot back. So you can have, again, hands and knees, or you can be with the knee up. If it's up, go ahead and lower down. And we're going to go to the other side. So extend the left leg first on the floor behind you. Powerful, strong muscles, and then lift it up. Knee and toes toward the floor, not the store. And hold it there just for a moment, really focusing on squeezing through the entire leg and through your core. Take another inhale there, and exhale, bring the knee to the chest. Inhale, extend it out. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, bring it in. One more time, reach behind. And then exhale, bring it all the way to your chest and then up between your hands, maybe scooting the right knee back. Hands can come up to heart as you just kind of shift your weight forward and back a few times. And one more. Good. Coming forward again a bit, gonna bring both hands to the inside, open up that left knee, outer blade of the left foot, hand on the inside and slightly twisting to that left side, although I've got to come back and do a regular spinal twist, which I just forgot. Come back, bring your hands up to heart center. And as you exhale, right elbow outside the left knee, lifting your heart center up towards the thumbs. Try to relax the grip of those front left toes, keeping knees stacked over ankle. And then inhale, come back to center. And this time you can just bring both hands down, one on each side of the foot. Tuck the back toes under to lift that knee and step back to plank, option of modified plank with the knees down. In either case, take a strong breath in and out a couple of times here, squeezing the thigh muscles. Shoulders are lined up over the wrists. And then if your knees are not up in the air, that's okay. We're gonna shift our hips up and back. We're moving into a modified downward facing dog. So all of us will end up with the knees up, shifting our hips up and back. Heels are off the floor. Knees are bent. Focus on bringing the chest towards the thighs. Inhale, come into plank. Exhale, shift back into downward facing dog. You can do this from the knees. Inhale into modified plank. Exhale into puppy dog. So your choice of which to do for a few rounds of this dynamic stretching. And then let's all meet in our modified downward dog with knees bent, heels off the mat, and then begin pedaling one at a time, heel down, same knee straighter, back and forth. Great. From your downward facing dog, now holding all limbs still for a moment, lengthening as you relax the head, shoulders away from the ears. We're gonna inhale, lift the right leg high, and exhale, kind of like we did on hands and knees, so you can do knees back on the floor if you'd rather, knee to chest. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, knee to chest. This time, inhale, reach the leg up, bend the knee, And start to open up. Foot dangles over the left side, knee to the ceiling. Again, you can do the same thing with the knee down. Just looks a little different. Make a few circles with your hip joint, that ball and socket joint, and then reverse. Wiggle the toes, circle the ankle, and then straighten the leg, bring it back to the mat. Do the same thing the other side. So inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, reach up and back. Bend the knee and start to allow that foot to dangle over the right side. The knee is now more towards the ceiling. And begin making those circles with your hip joint. Doesn't matter which way you go. It's an awkward side for me, harder to make those circles. And then move the ankle, the toes, and then straighten the leg behind you, bring it back to the mat. Shift your weight forward into plank. Keep the toes tucked under, bring the heart center up and forward to a modified upward facing dog. Stretching a bit through the hip flexors. And then shift back to plank, knees on the mat. So toes are tucked under. I'm gonna start walking the hands back. And see if you can take your seat onto your heels. Toes are tucked under, so we're getting a nice stretch through our toes. And look back, make sure your feet are even. Whether you put full weight down on your heels is kind of up to your feet and how they feel. You could use blocks under your hands to give you a little bit more support. But try to surrender into this powerful stretch for the toes for a moment. And it's great for the arches of your feet, kind of helping to ward off some plantar fasciitis. As you relax the hands into your lap, feel free to close your eyes. Just tune into what you notice. Notice the difference in the sensations in your right foot versus the left. The weight bearing. A few more breaths here. Maybe you can surrender a little deeper into the stretch now. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. We're gonna do some stretches for the front of our legs now. So walk your hands back out in front. And then bring yourself all the way down to your mat. You can use your left forearm to rest on the mat in front of you to prop yourself up a bit as you reach back with your right hand and bend the right knee. So see if you can grab the top of that foot. If you can't, you could use a strap or a scarf to wrap around it, and then draw that thigh in next to the left. The next step is to draw the tailbone toward the back edge of your mat, trying to lengthen the low back as you potentially bring the heel down towards your right hip, right glute. You can slide your hand for these last couple of breaths over and around onto your toes to include a little bit of a toe flexion, a little bending the toes in towards your ball of your foot. And feel free to rest your head down on your forearm. We're going to release that side for a moment. We'll be coming back to it with another option. As we switch to the left, so reach back for the left foot, bringing the heel down directly towards your glute. If you have super healthy knees, you can bring it slightly over to the side, but make sure that thigh didn't kind of jump out to the side of your mat. Keep it in close to the midline. Again, if you're not careful, the low back will try to arch and you won't feel this in the front of your thigh. So you've really got to focus on drawing the pubic bone toward the belly button, the tailbone towards the back short edge of your mat. Hands can move to the toes now. Don't worry if you're not as far as me, as long as you're getting a stretch, that's what we're aiming for. And then release that side. We're going to come back to the back to the right side, reaching back. This time, option of lifting the thigh off the mat and reaching the right arm up. A little more dynamic core strengthening here through the back body. You could lift the thigh and keep the hand down. Pushing the foot into that hand like the hand's a hook will help energize it and get it higher. Release that side. Switch over to the left. You can stick with the option we did the first time, or push the foot into the hand as you lift the thigh. Option of extending the right arm out in front, thumb towards the ceiling. Still breathing. And release. Final option is to take both legs at the same time. Otherwise, just go back and forth one more time on each leg. So you'll reach the hands back, bend the knees. Again, keep the thighs close to each other. As you push the feet into the hands, roll the shoulders back and see if the thighs want to come off the mat. Still breathing. And release the thighs back down. Release the legs to the floor, and with the hands underneath your shoulders, we'll push the chest up, lift the hips up, and take a moment in child's pose with the knees wide. So extended child's pose, big toes together, knees about as wide as your mat, as the hips start to lower down towards your heels, and the arms extend out in front. Option of bending the elbows and resting your head on your forearms. Begin to lift the forehead up. Bring yourself forward into hands and knees to line the knees back underneath your hips. Next variation depends on your knee joints again. So if this doesn't work for you, I want to show you something you can do in standing instead. You can come back next to a wall and do a standing quad stretch like this. From the front, make sure your knee's not out to the side. So I want to show you that. Knees in close, lengthening the tailbone, kind of like what we did on the ground. But if you have healthy knees, you want a little deeper thigh stretch. Feet are behind you, hip width apart. As you move the calf muscles out of the way, see if you can sit down between your feet. Use your hands to support you and move slowly, checking in that knees are happy about this. Take a moment there. And then you can take yourself back to your forearms. Knees are down, they're not wide. I'm going to lift up a little bit to lengthen my tailbone towards the front edge of the mat, lengthening my low back, increasing the stretch as I come down. That may be enough, or if available, you can come all the way down. Notice I'm not letting my knees just pop up into the sky. I'm keeping some length in my low back, encouraging the knees down. And I can take my arms overhead, or I can press them on my thighs. Full deep breaths, relaxing the muscles of your face, remembering the intention you set before class. Also a great stretch for the ankles. The muscles that run across the ankles on the front side of the body, the tibialis anterior, which can get aggravated with running. If you've heard of having shin splints, it's related to that muscle. So we're stretching that muscle and its tendinous insertion in the foot bones. If you're still in standing, make sure you've done the other side or start the other side. When come out of it and press through your elbows, start to lift your head, scoot the elbows back, and then use your hands. And shift our legs around out in front of us. And if you were standing, you can now come to your mat. Moving in now to some of the muscles along the back side of our legs, including the glutes. So this is kind of like a seated figure 4 stretch that can also be done on the back. Legs are in front, bent, feet down. And then you're gonna hug one knee in, maybe slide that leg out first. And then rotate the knee out to the side so you can place your ankle on that left thigh. Use your hands to maybe draw that heel closer as you use your hands to lengthen your spine. If you do this with a rounded back, you're gonna miss the stretch where you want it on the right glute. So use your hands to lengthen up, scoot back on your sit bones, and slide that heel in more. And of course, the longer the spine, the more you lean forward, the more intense you'll feel that stretch through the right glute. Another option would be to use your left arm at the elbow crease, the outer edge of your foot. Extend the left leg down, and the right arm wraps around. And you can rock your baby. If you do have your leg down, left knee and toes are towards the sky, you're still sitting up tall. Couple more breaths. Let's say you're still in this position. That's where we'll go back to for a moment. All you're going to do from here is indeed straighten that left leg to the mat and then take the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Make sure you're on the sit bones, so adjust if needed so that you're up tall. And on an inhale for Janushirasana A, reach up with the arms. As you exhale, you're just hinging at the hips. So I'm not rounding. I'm just bringing my chest towards my shin as far as I can first. You could use a strap around the ball of the left foot as you start to encourage yourself closer to the thigh. Again, I'm trying to keep this knee down so that I really feel this along the entire back of my left leg. I could add a little bit more by pulling back on the ball of my foot. Notice how that changes things, but do keep shoulders away from ears. And then at the last bit, you will indeed round your back a bit to come a little deeper into the pose. And then breathe. Bring your awareness to the back of that left leg. Behind the knee is where they say we store fear. So we're trying to kind of just move through that. Notice what comes up mentally, physically. And with each exhalation, send a bit of calm warmth to dissolve any tension. Begin to lift your chest. Walk the hands back in. And we'll just bring the right knee up. Walk it out a bit. Then the left knee. And we're going to switch sides. So this time we'll bring the left knee in close. Cross it over the right side. And you can take the hands or fists behind you as you get that position to optimally stretch. Notice I'm keeping my left ankle bent. That's important to protect the knee joint. And your choice of remaining here with that extra arm support to align the spine, or switch to the arms holding up the legs, right leg extended. And find that perfect sweet spot to stretch. Just go deep with the stretch, noticing without labeling what you feel. Next, we'll go into Janu Shavasana A. So if you're already here, you don't really need to bring the knee back in, but we all want to end up with the right leg straight on the mat in front of us and the left sole of the foot against the right inner thigh. As you square your body towards that outstretched right leg, reach up to create more length, and then exhale, hinging forward, finding wherever you need to. Take another breath in, drawing length through the spine, shoulders away from ears, and then exhale as you continue to slowly fold forward with your breath. Bringing awareness and length to the back of your right leg. Relaxing your jaw. Continue breathing. Remember the intention you set. As you inhale, begin to bring the chest away from the leg. Bring yourself back up. I'm going to turn towards you. You don't necessarily need to turn, but let me just recreate the position here. I'm going to move a little bit, some other parts of our hip muscles. So I'm going to bring that left knee up and over a bit. And then I'm going to cross it to the outside of the right side and let the knee kind of drop towards as I come to the outer edge of that left leg. I'm going to scoot it over even more. I'm trying to line up this thigh on top of the bottom thigh. This may be enough for you. If available, you can shift a little bit over to that right hip to bend the right knee and bring it around. Notice the heels are outside my hip joints. I'm not sitting on my heels, but I'm working on towards trying to stack my knees into a very one part of cow face pose. So you may start to feel this already on that thigh, or whether it's like kind of medial glute muscles of the top leg, in this case, the left leg. As you encourage that sit bone down. Today we'll keep the arm portion out of the pose, and this may be enough, but if you need a little bit more intensity in the stretch, a little deeper, go a little deeper in the stretch, then as you sit up tall, you can bring your chest towards your thighs and fold forward and relax your head and chin. Notice where you're gripping and holding, and each time you exhale, see if you can surrender and release a little deeper. Lift your head up, walk the hands in, and we're just going to take that bottom leg out of the way if it was bent like mine, uncross, straighten the left leg, and do the opposite side. So we'll bring the right knee in, cross it over, and then walk the foot back to try to bring the outside of the knee down on top of your left side. If available, you can bend the knee, bring that around, and then settle into your sit bones between the heels. You sit up tall, hands can rest on that top knee. And if needed, you want a little deeper stretch, you can start to hinge forward and rest on that top leg. Keep your mind focused right here on your breath in the pose, noticing without judging what you feel. Begin to lift the head, walk the hands back in, and you can take that bottom leg straight and cross. Bring both knees in. For Baddha Konasana, open the knees to the side, soles of the feet together, heels in close. Maybe your knees are up here, that's okay. The keys are to stay on your sit bones and sit up tall, and then let gravity kind of help maybe bring the knees a little closer or support them with some blocks or bolsters. Don't want any pain in the knee joints themselves. You may feel stretch in the muscle. That's what we're looking for. You just kind of take your hands to open up the feet like they're a book as you lengthen through your spine. And then option of hinging forward to increase the stretch. Keeping the neck long, shoulders away from the ears. If you feel any pain again in the knee joints, you need to back off. Stay grounded through the sit bones. Smooth breath. As you inhale, bring your body back up if it was leaning forward, and simply slide the heels away so you're more like a diamond sensation. This will get us a little bit more of a stretch in the low back. I personally like to take my hands under the shins, and we're going to allow the back to round right from the beginning in this case, as we bring the top of our head towards the arches of our feet. Long, full breaths, maybe even exhaling through the mouth a couple of times to really release any tension you feel. And bring the head up, take the hands out from under. Just a couple more poses that we'll do on our back, the knees together. I'm going to spin back around. And make sure you have the length of your mat behind you. You can use your hands or just simply your abs to roll it all the way down onto your back. Once there, walk the heels in a bit. They're going to be hip width apart. Make sure the toes are facing forward, not spinning out to the side. For Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, lengthen the low back first. Press the arms into the mat and lengthen the back of the neck. And then draw the belly in, start to roll the hips up and off the mat. And continue lifting up toward the shoulder blades. Keeping the chin away from the chest, maybe even interlace the fingers underneath your body as you press through all four corners of each foot and really think about creating length along what used to be hip creases when you're sitting in a chair. We're kind of lengthening those back out. So a long straight line from the chest to the kneecaps. Release the hands out of the way as you roll it back down. Hug the knees into the chest. Maybe rock side to side. And then final stretch across the right thigh over the left. And then use your hands to reach for the bottom of the foot that's on that same side. So my left hand's holding onto my right foot, my right hand's holding onto my left. And then think about pulling those feet down towards the floor. You should feel it kind of similar to we did this in sitting position as part of cow face pose, Ardhasana. And so you're learning these variations and you can do whichever variation. I may be doing one, you could do the other. So if I'm doing seated and you want to do the version on your back, that's totally fine. I just switched sides, so go ahead and switch sides. And then uncross the legs, one more knee squeeze, roll out side to side, any tension in the back. Optimally, you would move into a deep relaxation from here. So I will get you set up for that, but in case you don't have time for that now, I will bring you out of it. So for deep relaxation, where you just extend the legs, comfortable distance away from the body, arms are comfortable distance away from the body with palms toward the sky. Move your head until it settles into a nice neutral position. You let your body become heavy and completely supported by the mat beneath you. Relaxing the tongue inside your mouth as your lips part. And the eyes soften behind your eyelids. If you have an additional 10 minutes, I encourage you to just mute me and continue here. But if you need to end class, then you can follow along with me as you bend the knees in. Roll over onto one side and slowly press yourself back up to a seated position where you started class, an aligned spine. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. Notice any change in how you feel mentally, physically. Be sure and offer yourself a sense of gratitude for taking this time to promote wellness for yourself. And you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here and sharing your energy with me. I'll see you next time. And that's it.